Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, your Tribal God of Extreme, Peter Joseph here for video number 2 on your late Friday night, January the 16th, 2026, or if you're watching later, it's January the 17th, 2026. Thank you all for watching right here on the main channel, Killer Demon 669. Got 2. Killer Demon 669. Main channel. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like the video, hit the subscribe button down below in my pants, otherwise known as the description box below, and you can leave a comment on this video or any one of my videos from the past, the present, and in the future, Conan. But if you don't like it, too bad. And if you leave stupid comments, you'll get sent to that shadow realm, and Satan and Ozzy will rip off your, well, pretty much rip off everything and then eat your soul. So, don't do it. Go to your dead channel and do that, because you don't like it? Tough shit. That's pretty much it. Hey, that rhymes. So, moving on. Anyway, so if you don't like it, tough shit. But, if you want to leave a comment, go ahead. But, don't leave stupid comments, because I'm not going to read it, and you're going to get blocked, and you'll never be heard from again. And that's that. Share the video all over the internet, follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and don't forget to tap and slap that bell, turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one, because if you miss anything, you missed it. And you know what you are, you're pretty much SOL, you better know what that means, if not, oh well, that's that. And if you're brand new here, well, welcome to the party, pal, we hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice, tasty, cold one. Pretty much done, but... but, you know, I had a big dinner, so, anyway, but grab yourself a nice, tasty, cold one, whatever you drink, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. If you like it, great, you know, well, go fuck yourself, and get out of here, go watch somebody else, but that's that. Well, thank you for the free view anyway, bastards, and we move on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday, gotta get down on Friday, something for that weekend, and, yeah. Not gonna be so happy here in the Northeast, getting a little bit of snow, in the morning. Not gonna be too much, hopefully. They're saying about a coating to maybe an inch or 2 from pretty much the morning, and a little bit of, pretty much the entire weekend is gonna be a mess. So, if you have plans this weekend, be safe, be well, or just stay home. Which I might go out Sunday, I'm not sure. So tomorrow, I'm staying home because of the Niner game, and I might flip in and watch Genesis tomorrow, but we'll see what happens with that. But, yeah, just be safe and be well on Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend. Some of you don't have work Monday, like me, so you get a nice 3-day weekend. So you don't have to go back to work till Tuesday, and if you're in school, you go back on Tuesday too. That's that. So you get a little bitty mini break from the hassle of college and school and all that other shit. But, you know, don't worry, you get a week off in February, and then pretty much, I think at the end of March, you know, because Easter's coming up, and I think spring break's coming up for some of you in April. So, don't worry, June will be here, and everybody will be out of school, going on their summer vacation. So, don't worry, you'll get your vacation pretty soon. But if you don't go on vacation, well, sucks to be you. I'm hoping to go on vacation. I'm not sure yet. I mean, it's January 17th as of this video, so I don't know what's going to happen between now and July and August yet. So, well, maybe September. I don't know, but I do plan on, hopefully planning on taking a vacation sometime in the summer or early fall, but we don't know yet. I haven't even planned it yet, so I'm hoping to go sometime in the summertime, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But anyway, I hope you had a great Friday, and I hope you have a great weekend, as we pretty much have hit the first, the midpoint of the month, and we're starting the second half of The Price is Right. I mean, the second half of the month, as we Got 2 more weeks to go before we even hit February, and then February we go whoosh. February go quicker than William Utah's dates these days. It'll go by before you can blink. And there'll be March. Because, February is the shortest month of the year. We only got 28 days, 4 weeks. And then it'll be March, and then we're thinking about Easter and St. Patrick's Day and all that other shit. So, like I said, before you blink, it'll be Easter. And baseball season's coming up, too. Speaking of baseball, well, the Mets didn't get Kyle Tucker as he went to the NWO Dodgers for 5 years, and I forgot how much he got. But the Mets, playing B, basically, playing, I don't know what letter we're on now, but they got Bo Bichette, 3 years, $126 million. He will play playing third base. So, Beatty and Vientos here on notice, and possibly being traded for, they're thinking about getting Skubal, Peralta, who knows. And the Cody Bellinger watch is still happening, so we'll see what happens by the end of the month, or early February before spring training starts, where Bellinger will go if the Mets get a big-time pitcher. I don't know. But at least Uncle Stevie and Cousin Dave, the idiot that he is, did something this offseason. Not much, but I think he kind of made up for losing Edwin Diaz, Pete Alonso, and Brandon Nimmo by getting Simeon, Jorge Polanco, and now Bo Bichette, a big bat in that lineup next to Soto and Lindor. I still think we need maybe one more bat, and that might be Bellinger. If Bellinger's here, woohoo! That Met lineup is deadly. Pitching-wise, if we can get Skubal or Peralta to trade, then I make the Mets top contenders. Not to beat the Dodgers, but at least make the Dodgers like, Make the Dodgers think they got an easy road to the three-peat. Because right now, they got that three-peat pretty much on lock. And it's not even the season yet. It's not March 28th or whatever it is. But, yeah. I mean, the Mets may get it to third place and maybe get a wild card at something, but, diehard Met fans want that title, but I don't think they're gonna get the title this year. Finish that up, and we move on, but we'll see what happens with that. But we'll talk about Mets baseball probably near the end of March, right before Easter, so we got that. We got about 2 months, so we don't have to worry about that right now. But what I want to really talk about, as the title says, after 8 minutes of spiel, which you probably clipped and watched anyway, because that's all you do. Clip it, and then do your lame as fuck commentary that nobody cares about. Try to make a name off, well, not name, but, to steal my content, which is copyrighted, but I care less at this point. Clip it, steal it, critique it, and then you get your views off me. But without me, you're nothing. So if I don't do a long intro or whatever, you got nothing. So pretty soon, you won't be getting that. So too bad. That's that. Alright, anyway, after 9 minutes of spiel now, it is time for your late, and, well, not out of date, but it's late night WWE Smackdown review! For earlier today, or tomorrow, whenever you watch this, well, yeah. Whenever you watch this, it'll be from January the 16th, 2026, which we saw, if you don't have a VPN, you saw it a few hours ago on the USA Network at 8 p.m., but for people that do have a VPN like me, we get to see it at 3 p.m. London time, or 3 p.m. here, 8 p.m. in London, and we're going to pretty much do it all again on Monday, when Raw is from Belfast, Northern Ireland, and it'll be live on Netflix at 3 p.m., and then SmackDown will be back at its normal time, just for next Friday night, because it'll be in Montreal. And then Raw, back to its normal time next Monday, the 26th, back at its normal time of 8 o'clock. And then the following SmackDown, the 30th, will be taped at 1 p.m. here in the East Coast. So we'll see that on a VPN at 1 p.m. because it's in Saudi Arabia. And then the Royal Rumble will be 2 weeks from tomorrow, or 2 weeks from this video, in that construction site in Saudi Arabia, because they still haven't built it. Crazy, ain't it? You got 2 weeks to build this 30,000-seat stadium, get all the electronics to work, and all the garbage you gotta do. I don't think they're gonna have enough time. I still don't think they're gonna have enough time. And thus why you should not go to Saudi Arabia to do a show. Especially in an arena that's not built. Or a stadium that's not built yet. You're doing it from scratch. And didn't they start building it like late December, right around New Year's, or after the New Year started? As soon as this year started, didn't they start building it? I could be wrong, but you think you're gonna get a stadium built in a month? I don't think so. I don't think so, because you gotta get all the electronics, the stage set up, the seats set up, the steel, all the steel and whatever you gotta get done. That doesn't take a month. That takes months to do. I know they're working around the clock every freaking day to get this stadium built just for the Royal Rumble. I hope it comes off good, but at this point, they're going to be showing the arena still being built. And it feels like when you look at Met games from like 2007, early 2008, when you saw the construction of Citi Field in the background. Kind of looked weird. Like, what is that? So I don't know if they're going to get the stadium built in the next 2 weeks. I doubt it. I have a feeling they're going to move the Royal Rumble back to that big, huge stadium in Riyadh. Not the one that's being built. They're gonna where it usually was Crown Jewel was. And other events that were there. So I think this was a bad idea for whoever had the idea to build this stadium for 30,000 people. I don't know if it was a Saudi prince. I don't know if it was Hunter or WWE executives. Like, oh, we're going to go build a stadium for us. And the Saudi prince like, oh, we built a stadium for you. Then we give you squishy, you know. Come on now. So I can't stand this. I'm glad that the 10-year deal with Saudi Arabia is going to end. I think next year, 2028. Get them away from Saudi Arabia. I know there's rumors going around that Saudi Arabia could buy the WWE now. I hope not. Just what we need. Just what we need. Saudi Arabia to buy the WWE. Well, it could have been worse. Disney could have bought it, you know. Yeah, Mickey Mouse as the owner or the GM. Hi, kids! Welcome to Monday Night Raw, kids! Here's Goofy! Gosh, Mickey. Monday Night Raw is pretty damn good, Mickey. What do you think, Minnie? You're fucking Goofy! I don't know. We got Donald Duck like on in the backstage. You know what? I don't know. I mean, you have like weird people just, you know, from Disney just showing up, like Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, Pluto, be like slobbering over everybody, mostly the ladies. You know, nasty. Anyway, but yeah, I'd rather have Disney own WWE rather than a bunch of Saudis. You know what I mean? Not being racist or political or anything. I'd rather have Americans or Canadians or somebody else besides the Saudi Arabians own an American company. That's just me. Because I'm a full-blooded Italian and a full-blooded American. So, that's that. Anyway, moving on. I know half of that's clip. I don't give a shit. You're racist! No, I'm not. I didn't say anything racist about Saudi Arabia, so. Or any impressions that sounded racist. It didn't sound racist. I just feel like doing a boo. I give you a squishy for a boo. We have 6,000 flavors. Come again. You know, stuff like that. That's not racist. That's just being funny. And if you think it's racist, then you're a racist anyway, so. Can't say I'm a racist, but you're a racist too. It's like saying somebody's a pedophile, then not a pedophile, that makes you a pedophile. You know what I mean? So, choose your words wisely, dumb fucks. That's that. Alright, now after all that, let's get to, from Wembley Arena in London, jolly old London, England, love, from earlier in the day. And our commentary team, a little bit of a change, since we had Michael Cole and Bad News Wade Barrett on Raw. On Smackdown, we had Joe Tessitore and Corey Slave. Back from his little crying fit in Pittsburgh, since his Steelers, bye-bye, so long, farewell to you. I heard Britt Baker, baby, was crying up a storm. Ha-ha! Anybody else who roots for the Steelers? Sucks to be you. Hope you're having fun in Cancun. Seattle is going to be there pretty much tomorrow. After tomorrow night, Seattle will be joining you. Because the Niners are going to go in. They're 4-0 in that dump in Seattle. Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan are 4-0. Not going to have Kittle, which sucks. Fred Warner did great in practice, but he's been ruled out. If the Niners win, he will be back for the championship game, probably in Chicago or LA against the Rams or the Bears, and we'll see what happens with that. I hope the Niners can win, get Fred back on the field, and whether it be against the Bears or against the Rams, Niners will have a big, huge advantage. But hopefully it's not in dead as fuck cold Chicago and it's a blizzard. I don't want that. I'd rather be in basically Levi South, which is LA SoFi Stadium. Kind of a rematch from 2020, 21 to 23, I forget what year. When the Niners had the lead and then choked it in the fourth quarter to the Rams, who went on to win I believe they went on to win the Super Bowl that year. So, all roads are going to go through, hopefully for the Niners, all roads go through LA rather than Chicago. But I'm hoping the Bears win on Sunday, so maybe the road gets a little bit easier, but like I said, cold as balls in Chicago next Sunday, the 25th. And that's probably going to be the early game, unless, if they go to LA, I would assume they're going to get the late game, because that's going to be a 6:30 game, 3:30 here in the East Coast, and then whoever comes out of the AFC will probably be the 3:30 game. So we'll see what happens with that as the second round of the playoffs begin, and we're pretty much after this week, we're 3 weeks away from the Super Bowl 60, or for people that love Roman numerals, Super Bowl LX. That's 60. And our good buddy, Bad Bunny, during the halftime show was going to be epic. Way better than last year. Way better. But we'll see. We still need some rock acts at the Super Bowl. Whether that happens next year or who knows? Because all these pop acts are just popping up. No pun intended, but, next year we'll probably get Taylor Swift, that bitch. The year after that, probably Sabrina Carpenter. Next year after that, Ariana Grande. Maybe, 4, 5, 10 years from now, we'll get, somebody, Nostalgia. We'll get Disturbed, or we'll get Godsmack, or we'll get Nickelback. Who knows? We need some rock. We need some, Metallica, Valcara, or somebody like that. Speaking of Valcara, big ups to them. Their new video for Fury came out today. Epic. Epic shit. big ups to my girl Janelle from Conquer Divide, who's now in Valcara. Good shit. Pick it up now. Well, actually, go watch it now. I don't know if the album came out yet, but you can download it on Spotify, and Apple had a little bit of a problem with Apple Music. I hope that their technical difficulties fixed. But you can download it on Apple. You can watch it on YouTube. Just type Fury. You find it somewhere by Velcara, Velcara, or just go to my Peter Joseph channel. Go to my community page. It's right there. And give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and tell them I sent you. And that's pretty much it. It's a great song by great people. And as always, metal trumps mumble crap. As always. But we move on with that. Alright, so another tape show. We saw it tape, here in the U.S. But we get that. So this show, it was alright. Nothing great. But we're setting up for next Saturday night's main event. We had the start of the #1 contenders tournament to see who will go to Saturday night's main event in that fatal four-way match to see who will face Babucho Drew McIntyre and his unified world title. And that's that. So we had The Miz and Randy Orton. So pretty much all four matches were on the card. Miz and Randy Orton, Ilya Dragunov Dasa taking on Sami Zayn, Trick Willie Shaboom taking on Matt fucking Cardona, and then we had Solo Mibuki taking on Bobby Priest, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Alright, so we start the show off with a recap of Babucho, speaking of Babucho, Drew McIntyre, beating Cody Rhodes in the 3 stages of hell match last week, kind of thanks to Jacob Fatu getting involved and beating up Drew, then taking Cody out, and then Drew slithers his way out the cage. He wins the title for the second time, and everybody's happy. Alright, there we go, back live. By the way, we are emanating from the Wembley Arena in London, England. I think I mentioned that before, but if I didn't, now I mention it again. So we got that. Alright, so after the recap, we hear the bagpipes playing. Rowdy Piper's coming out. No, not Rowdy. Not you, Rowdy! Well, you're such a yo, that guy. So, not the hot rod, but Drew McIntyre comes out to the bagpipes for his first chat as the new undisputed unified champion, and it takes his sweetest time to get to the ring. By the time he got to the ring, it was like 8:45. No, see, probably like 8:15. So his first time he's had an introduction as champ in front of fans, because WrestleMania 36, where he won, not in front of fans. When he won the belt at WrestleMania 40, I believe, it was in front of fans, but he lost the title to Poppy Priest, thanks to CM Punk, and Poppy Priest cashed in the Money in the Bank, thanks to CM Punk, and won the belt. So, yeah, Drew had his moment in front of fans at WrestleMania 40, but that went nowhere. So it's the first time he's been champ in front of fans in a very long time. So anyway, so Drew says, I prayed for this, and the big man made it happen. Pretty much. And then he says, I'm still the first and only British WWE champion of all time. You would think it'd be like people like, not even Bret Hart, or like the Dynamite Kid, or the British Bulldog. Yeah, British Bulldog won the European title and the tag team titles, but never the main titles. Well, maybe, I think, British Bulldog won, the Intercontinental title at one point. But nobody else from Britain has ever held the world title. So, talks about how no one did anything for him when he was champ. There was only one person who believed in him before, and that was me, himself, basically. So he wants the fans to cheer for him, And then, before talking about the former, oh, he loved that word, former champion Cody! MDK Cody, you bitch! So he says, Cody, there is no rematch clause, so I'm gonna be champion for a very long time. Well, we hope. But then, Randy Orton in his this voice! He comes out to interrupt, talks about beating Drew before, so he knows that he can do it again, and then, Jacob, bah! Two! I mean? He comes out, and Drew's like, oh shit, I didn't do anything! So they fight, and Drew leaves through the crowd. Jacob follows him, and then The Miz sneaks up from behind like he tried to do last week, but Randy was ready for him and beat him up, hit a ghillie cutter. But this time, Miz was a little bit smarter, stuck up from behind, hits the skull-crushing finale, and I pretty much thought that was going to be it, then get to the match. That's what we kind of did. So he hits the skull-crushing finale, and then we go to break. We come back with match number 1, The Miz versus Randy Orton in a qualifying match. And Miz continues to hammer away, and then exchange of right hands. They go to the outside. Miz drops Randy on the announcer's table. Ow! Which didn't break. I am the table! And then Miz thinks he's great, does the Orton pose. Back in the ring, Orton wins a slugfest before hitting the Hangman's DDT. Go outside again. Orton drops Miz on the announce table about 5-6 times. Still the table didn't break. I am the table. Alright. And then he throws Miz back in, loads up the the ghillie cutter. But Miz reversed that into a skull-crushing finale. Interesting. And almost won the match. But Randy kicked out at 2. Miz tries it again, but has to settle for a fruit roll-up for a near fall. And then Orton pops right back up. Ghillie cutter! Bang! So he popped back up, got a little bitty breather, hit the ghillie cutter. 1, 2, 3 in a little over 4.5 minutes. Randy Orton wins. He goes to Saturday Night's main event. And we'll see who his other 3 opponents will be in that match to determine the number 1 contender to Babucho Drew McIntyre's title at the Royal Rumble. So we'll see what happens with that. But match itself was meh. 2.5 out of 5 stars. And that's it. Alright, moving on. Alright, we go to the back where Drew McIntyre, very nervous Drew McIntyre, is trying to leave the building with the belt, but he runs into the Ilya Dragunov, who promises to take a step closer to the title. Drew says, "I'll beat you too," and then he just like gets out of the arena as fast as he can. I still think he didn't do it. He didn't attack Jacob. You know who did it? Cody. Cody did it. Why do you think Jacob went after Cody? Not because he had the title at the time. I think because he knew that Cody did it. And Cody's being a bitch. He's saying, I didn't do it. Right. Look at you now, boy. So we get that. And we move on with that. Alright, then we get a promo from the Wyatt Six. That's Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, Big Red, Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, and Dexter Lewis, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and the creepy Nikki Cross. They're not wild on Solo Milwaukee, and the MFT's taking the lantern. We all know Bray Wyatt's lantern, but they're gonna get it right back, hopefully. So we got that. So 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, so after that, we get a video with Horseface Charlotte Flair coming up to see Ms. Bliss, Alexa Bliss last week, with Lexi ranting about how terrible things went for her last week. She pretty much got destroyed by Julia with help from Nia, Jax, and Lance Legend. Get shit done. beat her up after the match. Nia squashes her. That's that. So Lexi wants to know if Charlotte was really sick. And Charlotte's like, yeah, I was really sick. Right. She says, I turned down a bunch of title matches for the good of the team. And then Lexi's like, name 2. And then Charlotte's like, well, that's besides the point. Somebody's lying. Why you always lying? Okay, I'm going to sing a song. Anyway. She says, that's besides the point. I'm here now, and I'm going to help you stretch, not like that, before the match. So, Lexi leaves, and then Nia, Jax, and Lex Legend come in and gloat and mock them a little bit. Charlotte's not pleased, and not impressed. Not impressed, Skywalker. Not impressed. So she's not pleased, makes some threats, and basically, telling Lash Legend she's changed. Okay. You changed for your time in NXT? Not so much. Well, we got all that. Alright, so we see what happens with that. As, Lexi and Charlotte, are in a tag team match coming up next, but I gave the segment 2.25 out of 5 stars. So, Lexi and Charlotte take on the resident accountant, Kiana James, and her client, the Women's United States Champion, the beautiful Julia. So, 8.5 minutes, just under 8.5 minutes, Lexi strikes away at Kiana James. Start, gets caught with a knee to ribs, ow. And then Charlotte comes in, sends Kiana James into the corner, only to walk right into a super kick, and then everything breaks down. Lexi's in trouble. We go to break, come right back. Sometimes the faces come back, with Lexi kicking her way to freedom, get the hot tag to Charlotte, who, as always, chops her way to freedom, followed by a big clothesline to Kiana James. Really, Julia didn't do much in this match. Surprise. Anyway, a high cross body gives Charlotte a near fall. Julia breaks up the moonsault attempt. And then Julia and Charlotte finally get to strike it out. Get to beat each other up. Until Lexi comes back in, hits the Sister Abigail DDT on Kiana James in just under 8.5 minutes to get the win. Wasn't a great match, but still 2.25 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, Nia, Jax and Lex Legend run in, drop Charlotte and Lexi, and Julia and Kiana James kind of get in Nia and Lash Legend's face. And I don't know if that's going to be a match next week. Well, we'll see what happens with that. And we move on. Alright, after that, we get a promo from Solo Mibuki, Solo Sikoa. Says, if the Wyatts want their lantern back, the lantern, they want it back, put those tag team titles on the line. Well, we'll see what happens with that. So I give that 2.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, after that, it's shit break time, as it's time for Missionary Man Cody to come out. So Cody comes out to bore us for another 20 minutes with his missionary-style promos. Because as we all know, ladies and gentlemen, when Cody talks, it's like missionary position every single night. Missionary style is boring. Boring. Regular missionary. If you put the legs up, you start, going to town. It's a little bit better. But regular missionary normal style is boring. Boring. And here, we don't do that shit. So, we move on. So, anyway. So, Cody hugs a young fan, which leads her in, Cody, hug me. Fuck them kids. Anyway, so Cody finally gets on the mic, says, normally I would tap my fist on the mat, and we would go, no! Whoa! No, but we say, no! Because we hate you, Cody. And he moved on to whatever he's talking about. So Cody's like, I was champ and saw the fans as his teammates, but now he got too complacent. But maybe it was that Drew McIntyre was just too good. Then he's like, well, London, what do you want to talk about? So Cody brings up the Royal Rumble. And since this is a special city, like London is, where he wrestled for What Culture Pro Wrestling to hone his skills. Not good, Al, huh? In a city that deserves a WrestleMania, you think? So he declares himself the first participant and first entrant in the Royal Rumble, and we'll see if he can three-peat, which he won't. We hope he won't. If he does win, we're gonna riot. So he does that. He says that. So with that out of the way, he talks about Jacob Fatu, who Cody says, I knew he was going to be something special, and I know Jacob is a young veteran, and that means he knows what receipt means. And tells Jacob, you can either come out here right now and get your receipt, or you can stay in the back, and I'll find you, and I'll give you the receipt. Sure. So we get that. So see what happens with Jacob and Cody, and yeah, Cody's in the Royal Rumble, we knew that. I hope he gets drawn out near the end. And then that's it. Alright, 2.5 out of 5 stars for Cody's boring promo, and we move on. Alright, go to back, Matt fucking Cardona, kind of disappointed that Cody lost last week, because he wanted to wrestle his good old buddy for the title. So, he's like, I only came back to win the title. And that's basically another intense promo by the former Zack Ryder. Woo, woo, woo! You blew it. But now he's known as Matt fucking Cardona. And that's that. So, 2.25 out of 5 stars for that. Decent promo, nothing great. We move on. Alright. After that, we get to our second number one contenders qualifying match. We got Matt fucking Cardona taking on Trick Woody! Shimon! Whoop that trick! What? Whoop that trick! I like it. You know, Booker T at home, smoking a big fucking blunt, drinking his Kool-Aid, or whatever he drinks, and just sipping for his good buddy Trick Woody. I'll get that. Alright, so it starts off, the match was meh. So, Trick starts off posing at Matt Cardona, gets pounded into the corner, some big shoulders drop Matt Cardona, goes right back with a drop kick into a downward spiral. Not bad. And then he knocks Trick outside for a drop kick off the apron, and we go to break. Come right back, and as always, the heels come back. Trick forms his way out of trouble, but Matt Cardona grabs a zigzag. Who does that move? I wonder who. His good buddy Nick Nemeth, the guy who parked Issa's car perfectly. Not you, Ryan. Ryan, you fear Marcos. And you fear pretty much every woman that you try to get with. Rosemary, Mara Sade, or Miss Jackson if you're nasty, you know what I mean? Speaking of Mara Sade, Miss Jackson if you're nasty, she's going out with Kevin Knight from AEW. Okay, a good deal. Nothing wrong with that. So, good man, Kevin Knight. Just treat Miss Jackson like a woman. Treat her right, or I'll come kick your ass. No, I won't. But that's that. But, yeah. Mara Sade, Jakari Jackson, she's a nice lady. We'll move on. Alright, so, Matt hits the zigzag for a near fall. Trick comes back, tries for the Stinger Splash, but it's not Sting, it's Stink! So he misses the Stinger Splash, but he rolls away before the reboot. So he rolls to the outside, comes back in, Trick slingshots him over the ropes, hits the Trick Kick for a near fall. Matt Cardona tries to come back with a Rough Rider, missed. You forgot to wrap it up. But I digress. And Trick hits the bounce! Period. Almost knocked Cardona out the ring. And then he waits for Cardona to get up, hits the trick shot. 1, 2, 3 in under 9 minutes. Trick Willie goes on to Saturday Night's main event. He will join Randy Orton in that fatal 4-way match to see who becomes the #1 contender to Drew McIntyre's world title. And like I said, the match was meh. 2.5 out of 5 stars, and that's that. And then after the match, our good friend, man who has a pretty good theme song, and that's Kit Wilson. He comes out, beats the fuck out of Cardona, and then proceeds to finish his entrance. And everybody's happy. Yo, Kit Wilson is the man. Kit Wilson's gonna win the Royal Rumble. Kit Wilson's gonna headline Night 1 and 2 of Mania, and Night 1 and Night 2 of SummerSlam. That's how great Kit Wilson is. And as always, Elton Strong, Elton Prince, get better, my friend. We're pulling for you. Hopefully you come back by the end of the year with that neck injury. It's just weird how he got that neck injury off a freaking, a Scorpion Death Drop, basically. Because he was in a match with Fraxium, and Ben Frazier, flippy-dippity dude over him, grabbed him by the neck, and you could see his neck kind of go, and then when he dropped him, dropped him and his neck kind of and then he hit the DDT on Kit Wilson, but the way he grabbed Elton Prince, it looked like he was gonna snap his neck up or something like that. But he had it like this, and it just dropped, or like this, dropped him like that. It was, didn't look good. But not Ben Frazier's fault, but moving on. Alright, so we go to break with that. When we come back, Poppy Priest is all ready to face Solo Mibuki, Solo Sikoa, but he knows it won't be one-on-one because the MFTs will be at ringside. And he also knows he has to get to Drew McIntyre one-on-one to get his belt back. Alright, we got that. So I gave that 2.25 out of 5 stars, and that's it. Alright, I'll be back 1 second. I'll be back. Alright, sorry about that. I had to go to the bathroom. I had to drop a deuce, my friends. Okay, that was TMI, I'm sorry. Alright, we're back. Alright, so, Trick Willie beat Matt Cardona. Goes on to Saturday Night's main event with Randy Orton. I'm assuming who the other two participants will be in Solo Sikoa or Poppy Priest, and in the match with Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov. So we got that. And then Kit Wilson comes out and beats the crap out of Matt Cardona. And that's that. Then Papi Priest is all ready to face Solo later on, but he knows it won't be one-on-one, and he also knows he has to get to Drew McIntyre to get the title one-on-one. We'll see what happens with Papi. That's that. Alright, after the break, we come back, Kit Wilson's still in the ring, and he says, I am the solution to the problem around here, and I'm going to solve the toxic masculinity because I'm the definition of toxic and masculinity. I'm Kit Wilson. And then Jacob Fatu comes out of nowhere, pops up behind him, then he hits a super kick. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna kill Kit Wilson. No! And then he kind of beats him up a little bit, throws him out in the ring, gets the garbage basically out in the ring, gets the mic, and calls out Cody, says, get your ass out here right now, Cody! So Cody, who doesn't change in about 15 minutes, since he was in the ring and didn't change his clothes, you slob. So Cody comes out for the brawl, and then security and Nick Aldis try to break up the brawl, but don't do a good job. So we got that, and then we find out later that at Saturday Night's main event, Cody will take on Jacob Fatu one-on-one. That should be a pretty interesting match. Hopefully, Cody gets his butt handed to him by Jacob Fatu. So we got that. Alright, so I gave Kit Wilson's little speech and the brawl 3 out of 5 stars, and that's it. Alright, match number 3 in the tournament. Solo taking on Papi Priest. The MFTs are with Solo, Hikuleo, JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb, and the Guerrillas of Destiny, Tongaloa, and the resident Gremlin, Tamatanga. Yeah! Don't feed that guy after midnight. So they come out. They're around the ring. So it's also with Solo headbutting Papi in the ropes. Gets caught with a super kick. And Papi kicks him out to the floor where the MFTs not going to allow any shenanigans. So, Papi can't really go out and do any damage. So Solo gets in a cheap shot. And then the MFTs get involved. They drop Papi behind the referee's back. Referee! Do something! Do something! It sucks to be a referee. Anyway. We come back. Solo hits, from a break, we come back. Solo hits a running, ooh, maga attack. But Papi, spin wheel kicks him right in the face. Ow. And then he kicks away. They trade big shots to the head. Papi gets the better of that. And then Hikuleo gets caught trying to interfere. And the referee's like, you out! You're out of here. Go down now. Bye-bye now. Sit down. Chicago. You're out of there. Somebody called Ace Ventura. Get out! So he gets ejected, leaving Papi. Look at the laser's edge, Chico. Something happened to this. Something happened to you, Chico. So it's that for a near fall. Scott Hall is probably smiling right now. Chico. Then the other MFTs, with another distraction, that Solo hit the spinning Solo into the Superfly splash for a near fall. And then the Wyatts come out. They turn off the lights. The Wyatts appear on the announce table behind the MFTs. They take him out. Nikki Cross goes completely crazy. And then the lantern is just right there. And Uncle Howdy tries to get it, but Solo stops him and beats him up. Grabs the lantern, but he put it back down in the corner. Turns around. Papi hits South of Heaven, by Slayer. So he hits South of Heaven, 1, 2, 3 to advance to Saturday Night's main event with Trick Willie and Randy Orton. And this match was pretty good, under 11 minutes, 3 out of 5 stars, even with the chicanery. Still a pretty decent match. And that's that. And then after the match, Papi leaves, Uncle Howdy gets the lantern back momentarily, But Tamatanga drops Uncle Howdy and he takes it back. So, one of those, I got it, no you don't, thing. So, they're doing this whole stolen belt, stolen lantern gimmick, and eventually, I think the Wyatts will get the lantern back, but probably will lose the tag team titles in exchange. So we'll get to see what happens with that. Let me move on. Alright, Drew, who I thought left the building, runs into Sami Zayn, bragging that Sami has never beaten him before. I think like 2-3 matches he hasn't beaten him. Sami promises to win twice in a row so he can go to the Royal Rumble and face him again. Well, maybe. There is a chance that Sami could win the Royal Rumble, go to Mania, and maybe beat Drew there. But I read something that since Sami is Arabian, he could win the world title in Saudi Arabia next year at WrestleMania, because it's in Saudi Arabia. Makes sense, but depends if Hunter wants to pull the trigger with Sami winning the belt and doing the whole story. Sami finishes his story, Jordan. He finished his story. By the way, I'm sorry that Jordan and Brandon Martin lost their channels, I should say. I don't like whoever did that took down the channel. You're a coward. Just because you don't like someone, you're gonna take down their channel and hack the channel and put garbage on it. So sometimes you gotta have two-step verification. That shit won't happen usually. So sorry to Brandon and Jordan, who worked so hard on Rant and Rave for 3 years, and now all that work go bye-bye. Just because people, are so jealous of them or whatever it may be. And I had my issues with Jordan and other people on Rant and Rave and Brandon, a couple years ago. I wished them well and everything after the whole falling out thing. I wished them well, but it's just sad that that person who took down their channel did that shit. Just because I had a disagreement or just a stupid evil prick. And I hope you get karma from that shit. So don't cry when your channels go down. My channel went down today, I wouldn't give 2 fucks. This channel, I might be a little mad at because I built it from day one. So, they're pretty much, 1,200 and some, 60-something, 1,250, 1,260 subscribers go down the toilet. But at least I can, I'll make another channel, build my way back up again, and, even with my other channels, my Peter Joseph channel, my Rant channel, my Metal Guy channel, I'll start from 0 again and work my way back up. I've done it before and I'd do it again. I did that. I had to do that with my Shadow Slayer channel because I forgot the password to the original Shadow Slayer channel, which had almost 1,000 subs. Forgot the password because I'm old. And even if the Shadow Slayer 2.0 channel has 25 subs, eventually that'll work their way up to 50 to 100, but that's like one of my throwaway channels, so I'm not one of my big channels I would love to have, but it is what it is. I don't care. If that went down tomorrow, I wouldn't care. But I think the Peter Joseph channel, the Rant channel, that have a lot of subs, and this channel going down, and maybe my Metal Guy channel, those went down tomorrow, or whenever, I'd be a little bit upset, but I know I just start over again. So, I know a lot of people want me off YouTube, but that ain't gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So, you wanna do that bullshit just to get me off YouTube, or your other bullshit pranks and threats and everything, that ain't gonna work either. So, the only thing I can say is, you don't like me, don't watch me, go watch somebody else and go do your bullshit somewhere else, because you're not gonna do it with me anymore. Fuck you, and go get a life. That's that. But to Brandon and Jordan and company there, I greatly, feel I feel bad for you guys and what happened. 3 years and all the great interviews they did with some of the wrestlers like Melina and all down the drain. And now they have to start over, not here, but whether it be Facebook or Rumble or BitChute or wherever, Odyssey, wherever they go. I hope they have good success over there. I heard they did one on Facebook. They got a lot of views. So, hey, Facebook Live is the way to go. I did Facebook Live a couple of times in early 2022, I believe. Not early, late 2022. Did a couple of, I don't have them anymore. I don't think I have them anymore, but I did some lives for my reviews for the last couple of weeks of 2022, I believe. And then I came back in 2023, So, never say never that I'll go back doing live shows. But, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on Rumble, or whatever, but who knows at this point. But, I wish Jordan and Brandon much success in the future, whether it be on Facebook, wherever they go. That's that. And that's not something that I would never do. I would never hack into somebody's freaking YouTube page or their social media page just to take down their shit. I'm not going to go hack and do that shit. But, I've taken down people's channels before because they took down, they didn't take down, they copyrighted my shit. And then they get mad. Ooh! Get mad. I don't give a shit. That's that, but like I said, if you don't like somebody, that's fine, but, just don't be a dick and do something stupid like that. You don't like them, go on to somebody else. Go live your fucking life. Don't worry about what they're gonna do and then harass and stalk for like 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Just mindless bullshit. I don't stalk anybody. I don't care about anybody, really, at this point. I know there are a lot of people that hate me. Well, I hate you too. And I could care less what you do in your spare time and away from YouTube. I don't care. You can live your life, let me live mine. And if you want to just come out and try to ruin my life, it ain't gonna happen. So, kiss my ass. That's it. Alright, let's get back to Smackdown and about that bull funky. Alright, so Drew runs into Sami saying, hey Sami, you never beat me, and you're never going to get the title. And Sami's like, well, I promised to win tonight, I promised to win a Saturday Night's Main Event, and I'm going to go to the Royal Rumble, face you again, and I'm going to beat you at the Royal Rumble, and become the champion for the very first time. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, so I get a 2.5 out of 5 stars. That's it. And we move along. Alright, after that, we get a U.S. title match. Open challenge. We got him, Carmelo Hayes. And his open challenge is answered by this man, England's own, the TNA X Division champion, Leon Slater. But he's not defending the X Division title, obviously. But this match was great. They lock up the start. Carmelo takes him down. Early exchange of roll-ups for near falls. Then Leon chops Carmelo and he hurt his hand. Damn. But Melo might have banged up his knee. Uh-oh. We don't want injuries while you're the champ. So Leon kicks Melo in the face. and has a handspring elbow, which sends Carmelo to the outside. Then a slingshot flippy dippity-doo connects in a very nice high cross body, put Carmelo down for a near fall. As we go to break and come back, Leon kicks away into a suplex cutter. Stops stealing. Gives Melo a near fall of his own. Leon kicks him in the face for another near fall, and a slingshot axe kick to the back of the head has Melo in big trouble. Then they trade fruit roll-ups again for near falls until Leon sends him to the outside for a huge, big flippy dippity-doo over the top rope. Crazy as shit. They get back in. Leon goes for a Swanton 450. Missed. No one in the pool for you, sir. Which sets up the first 48 by Melo. He hits that. Goes up top with Leon following, only to get superplexed into a cutter. What? Somehow Melo retains the title in under 12 minutes. That finish was epic. And the match was great too. 3.5 out of 5 stars. Melo retains the U.S. title. These U.S. title open challenges have been very, very good. When Sami had it, when Ilya Dragunov had it, and now when Melo has it, all the matches have been epic. Bangers after bangers after bangers. You love it. Love it. And finally, the U.S. title is being elevated. Now, if you get I wouldn't say the Intercontinental title, because Dom's doing it by himself. If you get some of the other titles, like the Women's Intercontinental title that the man, Becky Lynch, has, and the Women's U.S. title, especially that, with Julia holding the belt, get some bangers out of that, then we don't have to yell and scream like, they're not being elevated. Alright, so let's see what happens with that. And we move on. Alright, in the back, we have Shinsuke Nakamura. He's watching what just happened. Maybe getting a future U.S. title match with Melo. So he's watching, and then the resident gremlin Tama Tonga interrupts, saying that he's coming for the U.S. title, and says, your time is up, blah, blah, blah. Stay out of my way. Or you get stepped on, whatever like that. And then Shinsuke just goes into this humongous rant in Japanese. Says that you shouldn't be worried about me, you should be worried about your family. That pretty much don't like you. And basically Shinsuke's not impressed. That's the gist of it. So, we'll see what happens with that. 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, after that, Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling, and his hot wife Candice LeRae. They still have Axiom's mask from last week. And then Axiom, the actual Axiom, pops up. He wants the mask back, but Candice LeRae walks off with it. And then another Axiom, who we find out as Ben Frazier, punches Gargano right in the face. And I think he takes the mask back, gives it back to his good buddy, the real Axiom. And then Ben Frazier tells Johnny Gargano, I'll see you next Friday. So they're going to go at it, which should be a pretty decent match. And we got that. And I gave the segment 2.25 out of 5 stars, and that's it. Alright, after that, we get a video from another vignette for the Ruda, who, the Destroyer, who, the Bringer of War, who, Oba, who, Ferry. He's coming to Smackdown pretty soon. Probably after the Rumble, but we'll see what happens with that. Alright, moving on. Alright, then we get to your filler match of the week. We have our Madam President, Chelsea Green, and Alba Fire at ringside. She takes on Big Mama Pump, Jordan Grace, the SmackDown Women's Champion, Jade Cargill, watching from ringside. And basically, Jordan beats her up for a little bit. Chelsea manages to send her in the corner for a super kick from Alba Fire behind the referee's back. But Jordan clotheslines her down. clotheslines Chelsea down, grabs a suplex followed by a Death Valley driver. Surprisingly, she got the pin with that. So, not a squash match per se, but yeah. So, a little over 2.5 minutes, the match gave 2 out of 5 stars. And then afterwards, Jordan gets on the mic, calls out Jade Cargill, who gets on the apron, and then accidentally gets decked by Chelsea Green, who was trying to charge into Jordan Grace, but Jordan sidestepped her, and Chelsea hit Jade, and you know Jade's gonna be pissed about that, and she's gonna beat the living shit out of Chelsea Green next week. Most likely. And we move on with that. That's that. Alright, then we're in the back with Kathy Kelly and Chick Winnie is there. He puts Smackdown on notice. And he says, I'm the top dog around here. And somebody put some respect in my name. Respect my daughter. And then Bobby Priest comes in and says, you know, I like to fight too, but I fight, in that ring, blah, blah, blah. And says, I'm ready, you're ready for Saturday's main event, but next week, I'm free, you're free, let's have a match next week so I can whoop that trick, or whoop that ass, as he said. So I'm like, yeah, let's sign me up, let's see it. So, see what happens next week with Bobby Priest and Trick Willie. That's it. Then we get to your main event of SmackDown, the final qualifying match in the tournament. Let's see who goes to Saturday's main event. We already have Randy Orton, Bobby Priest, and Trick Willie. So we're going to see who's next in Ilya Dragunov the Tsar taking on Sami Zayn. This was another great match. They slug it out to start. Sami hits a clothesline for a knockdown. Forms in the corner where we don't do much. The Dragunov comes right back with a running boot to face in the corner. And then, Ilya tries for something off the top rope, missed. And Sami gives him a regular suplex for a near fall. Dragunov comes back with some rolling German suplexes. Goes up top where Sami kicks him with a top rope superplex. As we go to break, we come back. I don't know how this happened, but Dragunov is busted wide open from his eyebrow. So, blood, motherfuckers. So we got that. Thought I heard something. Okay, never mind. So Dragunov is busted wide open. So we got blood, motherfuckers. Sami goes for the Blue Thunder Bomb, and Ilya Dragunov escaped. Then the missile dropkick gives Dragunov a near fall. Goes to the H-bomb that gets blocked with a raised boot. Inventive. And then Sami tries for the hell of a kick. Missed. And his legs all dangling over the top rope. Ugh. They fight to the apron. Dragunov hits Torpedo Moscow. Ow! On the apron. And both of them are down on the floor. They somehow get back in before the count of 10. And then Dragunov hits a big power bomb. Ow. But the top rope backsplash hits Ray's knees. And then Sami backs up, hits the hell of a kick. 1, 2, 3 in just under 12.5 minutes. Sami Zayn goes on to Saturday's main event, where he will face Bobby Priest, Randy Orton, and Trick Williams. To see who faces Drew McIntyre, Papucho, at Saturday's main event. So we'll see what happens next Saturday with that, and next week on the program. So, match itself, I gave 3.25 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, Trick Willie jumps Sami to end the show. I'm like, why didn't anybody else come out to save him? So we'll see what happens with that. Maybe Sami gets involved in that Trick Willie Bobby Priest match next week. They get revenge. And then that's that. As far as the Fatal 4-Way go, I could see Sami winning it, going on to the Royal Rumble to face Drew McIntyre, and I don't think he's going to win there. We'll see. There is a chance he loses that match, goes into the Royal Rumble, which I think will be the final match on the cards. I think the Women's Royal Rumble will start, and then probably have another match in between. Then the then Drew's title match, and then the main event, which will be the men's Royal Rumble, and then maybe an extra match in between, maybe 2 or 3 matches in between before we get to the men's Royal Rumble, which will end the show. And then I can see Sami losing to Drew, with somehow getting another title match by winning the Royal Rumble, and then possibly going on to face Drew McIntyre at Mania in Vegas, and maybe winning the belt at WrestleMania 42. That could happen, but I'm still thinking Roman will win. I know they're not going to do Roman and Cody anymore. And really, Cody and Jacob might face. Cody and Jacob might face Drew at Mania. So I don't know what's going to happen. If Roman does win, he might go on to face CM Punk for the belt. But who knows? Who knows with that? I mean, it's already been penciled in that that Braun Breaker is going to face Punk again at Mania, and he's going to win. That's what was originally penciled in for that match. And then since Drew won the belt from Cody, that kind of fucked up everything that was going to happen at Mania, which everybody thought was going to be Cody Roman 3 and a tree for the title. But Roman will be back at the Rumble, but he's kind of like not going to take a back seat to the title chase, but I don't know what's going to happen next, at the Rumble. Who's going to win the Rumble for the men and the women? I think the women might be Bianca Belair. People saying Mommy Rhea Ripley, because I read that Mommy Rhea Ripley might get a title shot at Mania against Stephanie Vaquer, or if she has the belt by then, or maybe Jade. That would be epic, but... And then you worry about Io, what's going to happen. I think her and Io are going to lose the tag team titles. Probably the Lash Legend and Nia Jax. Then again, I don't know. Maybe back to Kabuki Warriors. Who knows? And then that match I really wanted to see was Asuka, Io, and Kairi going at it in a triple threat match. And I would have Kairi win that just to finish the storyline. But Io winning again. I mean, anybody who wins that match, I'd still be happy. Whoever wins that match, I'm happy anyway. But I'd rather have Asuka win because she's 0-7. I think 0-6, 0-7 at Mania. I wouldn't want her to go 0-8. So, I'd rather have Kairi or Io win, but not pin Asuka. And I would have Kairi pin Asuka, but then again, it doesn't matter. Whatever I just said doesn't matter, because if Asuka does lose, she goes to 0-8 at Mania. We should be 1-8, or 1-7, and 1-6, whatever it is, but she's having a reverse Undertaker-like streak right now. So we'll see what happens with that. On the road to WrestleMania, but we got a couple pit stops to make. The Royal Rumble, and then February the 28th, the final day of February, we're going, I think, to Chicago for the Elimination Chamber. And then we're on a long road to WrestleMania. Pretty much a month and a half build, which is great. I think we have a Saturday's main event in between, I think in February or in March. So we got that. So we're on that long road right now to WrestleMania 42. But like I said, we got some pit stops to make. But once we get to April 18th and 19th, we're WrestleMania season. It's going to be great. And then after WrestleMania, we'll be on the road to SummerSlam. And then we're going to take a trip to Puerto Rico, see Issa for Backlash in May. And then we'll worry about Money in the Bank. And then we'll worry about anything else coming away in June and July. And then August, we got 2 nights of SummerSlam in Minneapolis. That's Brock Lesnar's retirement match. Probably against Walter, but we'll see what happens with that. That'll probably be on night 2. But we got a long way to go. Long way to go. With WWE and AEW, who we don't even see on pay-per-view till March 15th with Revolution. And then pretty much a month after that is Dynasty. And then we'll worry about All In London on August the 30th. we could see the rumored to be Ocean Spray and I think it's Swerve or Ocean Spray and Hangman or something like that. But they're saying Ocean Spray might win the world title by then in his home country, I should say. So we'll see what happens with that. And all the other good stuff with the Owen Hart Cup coming up in a few months. I think Ocean Spray will win the men, obviously, since he's going to go to London. As far as the women, it might go to Mercedes, and she will repeat, or might go to somebody else. Who? I don't know. Maybe Athena, who knows? But, so many things we could talk about now. We could kind of formulate our ideas right now as we get from now until the summertime, but, it could change. But that's that, because wrestling changes pretty much on the fly as it is. That's that. Alright, guys, it is late. I'm getting out of here. I will be back, probably late morning to do my TNA on AMC review, and then then we'll talk about, we'll do the predictions for Genesis, probably late after that, and then maybe before we hit Genesis and the Niners game, we'll talk about Dynamite, and then on Sunday, we'll talk about Ring of Honor, and we'll talk about Genesis, do the review for Genesis on Sunday, and then maybe, if I can get it in Sunday, or maybe early Monday, we'll talk about Ring of Honor, and we'll be back to Monday Night Raw, probably by late Monday night or Tuesday. So, the videos will be coming again, but if they come a few days off, it's what it is. Because I'm busy, I'm tired, I'm sick, you can barely hear my voice at times, but Ugh! Sorry, I blew your eardrums out. Good for you, though. That's that. Alright, guys, I am out of here. As far as Smackdown goes, it was pretty mid, and I gave it 6.5 out of 10, so let me know what you guys thought of the show down below in the comment section, and like Trick Woody would say, let's talk about it, and that's that. Alright, I'm going to try to get some water or drink something before I go to bed, and then, like I said, I'll be back a little bit later on, tomorrow, probably like 1 o'clock. We'll talk about TNA, and then we'll do the predictions for Genesis on episode 101 of the Shadow Slayer as we start the next 100 episodes of that great channel. And then maybe before the Niners game, we'll do probably do Dynamite, and then, like I said, Sunday we'll talk about Ring of Honor, we'll talk about Genesis, and then we'll do Ring of Honor sometime late Sunday or early Monday. And then get ready for Raw. We'll do a Raw review after Raw goes off the air, probably around 8 o'clock when you would see it on Netflix. If you didn't see it early in the day, I would do a video probably when the replay would start. So when I do that video, there might be spoilers in there if you haven't seen it that day. So, but it's whatever, and that's that. But after that, after Raw, we got one more international show to go, and then I don't think we're going to go international probably till sometime in the middle to near the end of the year. But we'll see what happens with that. But if you don't have a VPN on Monday, you're fucked. And on the 30th of January, you're fucked too. So you're going to have to watch the replay at 8 p.m. on Netflix or 8 p.m. on USA Network. So if you don't want to read spoilers, then don't look at the internet the whole day. But that's that. Alright, now I'm getting out of here. I'm going to grab something to drink to kind of get my voice back a little bit. But I will be back tomorrow with some videos, so stay tuned, hit that bell, and that's it. So I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. 6.5 out of 10 stars for Smackdown, and that's it. I'm Peter Joseph signing off. Peace out, rock on, and rock out with your cute. And if you're not down with that, I got 3 words for you. Fuck you, man. And that's it. And I'm out. Peace.